everyone's a little bit autistic. I think when people say that, they're thinking that they're being sympathetic or nice to people, but it's actually very invalidating because it's like, oh no, you're fine because we're all a little bit autistic. It's like kind of brushing off someone's difficulties that they're having. It's also just not correct because the autism spectrum is not linear. It is more like a circle, and every autistic person has different experiences with different traits, and those traits can fluctuate over time. And you're either on that spectrum or you're not. Autistic traits are human traits, so anyone can experience them. They're not just like, only autistic people can experience these things. No, that's not how it works. So there's that one. Then there's the only boys can be autistic. Not true. I think part of the reason we have that misconception is because the diagnostic criteria that we have for autism is based on 8-year-old boys, which makes it very hard for females to get diagnosed.
What does an autistic person look like? Like, is there a model? Like, maybe we should find out.
I do hear that one quite a bit. You don't look autistic. I had a psychiatrist say to me once. It's such a silly statement because it's like, what, have you developed X-ray vision? Can you see my brain? I'm sorry. I often respond to people, well, you don't look neurotypical. And then I let them get offended by it and watch them trying to figure out why they're offended by it, because that statement of you don't look autistic, it is a very ableist statement, right?
Have you seen them being able to like get offended? Have you seen them?
I've seen a few people get offended.
All right.
But it does make them think. I mean, I do still explain it to them, and I explain, you know, autism doesn't look a particular way. What, do you want me rocking in a corner flapping my hands all the time? Like, we still have lives, we still have to do things. Someone said, let's have a chin wag, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I still haven't learned it. I don't know what that is. But there was another one that was, we're talking about the ability to think laterally. I was like, what? Ability to think sideways? Like, how do you think laterally? I don't understand. And so I like actually started reading up on it, and it's to do with like dogs tilting their heads. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, when there's a metaphor I don't understand, I do get someone to explain it to me. But I think it's not metaphors that I have the hard time with, it's implications, because I mean, people don't use metaphors in everyday language, right? But implications are in everything. The other thing with that is like people don't realize when I'm joking. It's kind of amusing. Anyway, gifts. No. I like gifts if I don't have to open them in front of people. I really struggle with like
the reaction. Yeah,
because I don't know how I'm supposed to react to the gift, and I always get it wrong. But I've also my whole life, I don't know why this is what I do, but if I open a gift and it's a clothing item, I put it on immediately. If I get multiple clothing items, I put them all on at the same time. It was quite funny for Christmas because my brother's girlfriend got me this top, and I opened my gift and immediately put it on before everyone had finished opening the gift. So my brother was like, oh, where's the top that you got her? And she was like, she's wearing it.
That's what they're supposed to be, right?
Well, I think part of the reason I do it was because I couldn't figure out how I was supposed to react to show that I appreciated it, and so I figured if I put it on, they know I like it. So that's what I did.
So going back to that diagnosis for you, so what can we say to those who are still like haven't been diagnosed, but they kind of like feel something is not quite right? And is there a cue or a trait that they need to find out, so at least they know how to navigate it?
It wasn't something I questioned. I would spend every single social interaction monitoring how much eye contact I was giving, monitoring the tone of my voice, monitoring the order of the words coming out of my mouth, what facial expressions I'm using, what emotion I'm portraying, what gestures I'm using, how much I'm moving, and like what the vibe of the group is, what emotion are they expressing, what are the social rules in the situation. It was exhausting, and I could barely listen to anyone who was talking, but I thought everyone was doing it, and so I was like, well, no one talks about this, so I'm not going to talk about it. And I would get so exhausted from it that I slowly learned that mimicking was easier. I've been doing that most of my life, to be fair, but mimicking would mean that I would copy the person's accent, I would copy their mannerisms, I would copy the patterns of their speech. And like people would notice that I was picking up their mannerisms or their accent. Sometimes they'd think I was mocking them. I didn't realize that was me masking until I got diagnosed. I was like, oh, wait, you're not all sitting there like consciously making all of these decisions about what your body and your mouth was doing the whole time. So yeah, once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, well, since you are not doing that, I'm going to try and stop. Do you want to put the chicken in the oven before I arrive? I texted her back, no, because I don't want to. I still did it. I didn't want to, but I needed to do it, so I still did it. She arrived, she's like, oh, we should probably put the chicken in the oven. I'm like, what do you mean? I've already done it. She's like, well, you said no. I'm like, yeah, because you asked me if I want to. I don't want to.
How's the family?
Yeah, my family life, we had fallen apart. Like, I had no contact with my mum before my diagnosis. Things were just really bad between us. And then I got my diagnosis, and it just helped a lot of us actually understand what was actually going on and why there was so much hurt between us. And we're able to actually talk through that, and we have a much better relationship now, and it's really good. Especially realizing the pathological demand avoidance side of things. Like, I was a very stubborn child because of pathological demand avoidance. So anytime my parents would tell me to do something, I would just turn into a little bit of a demon, honestly. Very, very mad and angry anytime I was told to do anything. But now that we have that understanding, my mum's able to talk to me in a way that works, and she's able to understand my communication. But on top of that, so we figured out that some of the family members are also autistic. So I'm able to explain some of the things to my mum that she's maybe frustrated with them. So like if there's something happening in their relationship and she's really annoyed about it, she talks to me about it, and I go, well, this is why that thing's happening. And my mum's learning like that when you want something from an autistic person, you have to give an explanation. You have to give the why and the logic behind it. And so she's learning how to have those conversations. Right now, it feels like she has to have a debate anytime she wants something done. But she's slowly learning the language to use to make that shorter and shorter so that she can not have to fight every time.
Right.
No, so I don't feel hunger. I don't feel fullness. Don't know when I need to drink. Don't know when I need the toilet. Like, I can't feel it. I feel nothing at all. I can go days without food and not realize because I just don't get hungry. I don't have those cues. I do have an alarm on my phone that tells me to eat. But yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, it would happen so much. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's been 3 days, haven't eaten. It was my normal. I just didn't realize that there were different feelings that people felt that I didn't feel. There have been very few times where I have felt hunger, but it lasts all of 2 seconds and then it's gone. Yeah.
That's going to be challenging. I mean, you have to remind yourself. Good thing we have alarms now in our phone.
Getting into a good routine is really helpful with that, because if I have a routine where it's like, okay, I get out of bed, I get changed. After I get changed, I eat food. And then after I eat food, I brush my teeth. Like if my meal is associated with the rest of my routine, I have to do it. Whereas if it's like, oh, somewhere in there I eat food, then that's not gonna happen.
Right. Do you have allergies, like food allergies?
Takiwātanga in her, their own time and space.
Being cool. The kids that are in his class that have autism, super cool.
Autism's about a different perspective on life.
And once you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person.
There is nothing wrong with having autism, you know. Accepting it. Once you know you got it and accept it, get on with life a lot better, you know.
They bring change. They are non-judgmental.
Being different ways to thinking.
I'm autistic. If you don't look autistic, it is a very ableist statement.
Autism is a label. Forget the label and just live as normal life as possible. Autism is about hope.
Takiwātanga. Love Not Cure, Exploring Autism.